Hey everyone, Chris here from Midwest Coaster Fans. I hope that you guys enjoyed the opening of that to kind of showcase all the coasters at Kentucky Kingdom. That includes Kentucky Flyer, T3. Thunder Run was not running in that video, but you know Thunder Run's open. Storm Chaser, Lightning Run, and Skateboard or whatever it's called. And I think that concludes the lineup over at Kentucky Kingdom. And they have a good lineup. You have 2 family coasters, so you can bring your kids on that. So you have Kentucky Flyer and you have Skateboard or whatever it's called. I think it's called Skateboard. And today we're kind of just talking about a variety of different things, but mainly where is this new coaster? And I'll discuss about what I've heard through the grapevine related to that and why they won't be getting a new coaster for 2021 now. And it'll probably be pushed to 2022. As many of you already know, it's probably due to COVID and the revenues and the net profits coming in to Kentucky Kingdom just weren't where it needed to be at for them to install that new coaster. It probably wasn't cost effective at the time. And there was a series of events that kind of coincided with this that caused there not to be basically that new coaster being built. Now we had the rumor. I was able to video record a lot of stuff related to that. We thought it was coming next to Eye of the Storm. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be so. It appears that it's been delayed. We've been getting teasers. Jefferson's really good at doing teasers. He's the social media guy that handles Twitter and Facebook and all that, and he was doing a really good job kind of showcasing things. It's unknown at this time what's going on. I think we're more likely to see maybe T3 getting new trains than RMC Raptor coming in 2021. And I mean, that's fine. If we end up seeing a Vekoma with new trains, that would be great. But something was in that semi truck on that video that I showcased a couple months ago when Jefferson kind of opened it up and you had the slowing down moment of it. And you could see something peering in there. It appeared to be a train of some sort, but I don't think it's the RMC Raptor. Now, if it is, those are the trains for the RMC Raptor. But I think that project, because Silverwood kind of announced theirs at the last minute, rumors coming through the internet basically stating that RMC Raptor went to Silverwood as Stunt Flyer instead of going to Kentucky Kingdom. Here's what we do know. obviously, that's probably been delayed. What we do know is the plot of land that it'll sit on if they choose to do the project. And I'm going to bring that up here in just a second so you guys could view the same thing that I'm viewing here. So let's go ahead and share that here. So you can see I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to type in here Kentucky Kingdom. And we're going to bring on a map and we're going to showcase kind of the room that they have here. Hold on. There we go. I don't know why Tire Kingdom would be popping up. But here is what we do know of the land. So this is the land that Kentucky Kingdom sits on. It's not a very big land, but it's big enough. Now you can see this parking lot has been recently repaved. From what we're understanding, this will be the new entrance point to Kentucky Kingdom. I don't know in the future if they're going to want to add that or leave this, but what from the rumors that we know is that, let's zoom in over here, eventually they want to make this the main entrance to Kentucky Kingdom. Now, there's also been another rumor speculating saying that over here, because there was some land cleared over here. Give me just a second to figure out where that was at, because I remember it was right around where T3 is at, which would put it right here. So there's a street right over here, and there was some land. There's some land clearing going on over here. And hold on just a second, because I've got to see here. Phillips Lane. Yeah, this back area over here was getting some things torn down. And I have a video on that. I will bring it up in just a second so you guys can watch it, where they were clearing out some space earlier in the season. But here's a small plot of land that the RMC Raptor would sit on. Now, it would fit here, but it's still going to be a tight fit. So, according to the permits that we got from the FFA, which they handle everything flight related for flight paths and so forth, this would be the area that the new coaster would sit at, right here. It's unknown at this time if they planned on relocating Eye of the Storm, which they could relocate that basically anywhere. It doesn't take up any spot or plots of land. They were no longer using this for storage. Let me bring up our video here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Look at that, I'm live. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to let you guys view this so you guys can hear me talk about it. I took that video about 4 months ago. So about 4 months ago, I took that video, and what's very interesting in it, there was no work even being remotely done on it, and that was back in August, which I found to be very odd. Actually, it might have been in July that I went. I possibly was the end of July that I was there last, and there was nothing being done out there. You think that footers would have been laid, stuff like that. Nothing was done. Nothing was cleared out of that space, which kind of sent kind of a red flag on that. And then many of you guys know that Jefferson released kind of like a video showcasing the park, and then kind of did a quick look at in the trailer. And I slowed that thing down as slow as I could, and I still couldn't see what was in that trailer. It could have been anything. It could have been could have been replacement vehicles for the flat ride. It could have been new trains for T3. It could have been new trains for Thunder Run, or it could have been the trains for RMC. But many of you guys know that Stunt Flyer is going in over at Silverwood, so that kind of beats that. And then Tom Thomas said, didn't T3 just get new trains a few years ago? As far as I know, they did. And Brian says they got them in 2015. However, if you guys ever rode T3, you guys would understand that the restraints are very weird, and there's a lot of issues with them. So when you ride the roller coaster, at towards the end of it, and even my 12-year-old son experienced the same thing. The straps and the restraints tighten up on his legs towards the end. So it's not a comfortable ride. It's not a comfortable experience in terms of T3. I think T3 is by far one of the worst inverted coasters I've ever ridden. Sorry, Kentucky Kingdom, but it is not a good coaster. I know in the future they possibly have plans of scrapping that probably, because I don't see why you would keep a coaster like that gets nothing but hate from the public. Also, the lines are very short. However, they have to figure out something that's a people eater. Kentucky Flyer, B&M, and a campground. Pretty funny. Yeah, Ed Hart said during the winter walkthrough that B&M is not going to happen. So it begs the question: you would either have RMC, Intamin, Gerschlar. There's a variety of different options. However, we know from the footprint, unless they were just trolling us, we know that it did say RMC Raptor on that FFA document, and I will bring that up here in a second as we're talking about it, because I think I did a video on that as well. So hold on just a second, and I'll bring that video up showcasing that. Let's see here. I'm going to bring that back on here again so you guys kind of see it. So here's that document. Let me increase this so it's full screen. You guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So on here, it has a variety of different things on here. Next Gen Vekoma, possibly. Inverted, possibly. Banshee established 2014 says. But you can definitely see on here, there's a variety of different things you can look at. Hold on, let me go ahead and play this so we can go through it a little bit. Well, here's the dimensions for it, if you guys remember. So these are the dimensions. If you take these dimensions, what you get is you get an RMC Raptor. These are the coordinates, which align with where the eye of the storm is. And yeah, I'm kind of doing like a lounge type of live show today. I just want to relax a little bit. But you can see right here, structure name Raptor. And you can see that top right. And the construction was supposed to start in September. Nothing has happened on the property yet. That doesn't mean that it won't happen, but from what we're hearing, it's been delayed. And we probably would have saw some construction being done, especially in the off season. Nothing has been done yet. But the approval was given to the FFA, and they gave them a period of, looks like, what is that, 8 months to complete this. Many of you guys know the flight path going into Kentucky Kingdom and how UPS and all the commercial aircraft just kind of skirt right by the Kentucky Flyer. But if we look further at this, you will definitely see what. Uh, and this is what I was able to find out. So if you look at the coordinates, I plug those in, and you could do this on Google if you were to plug in those coordinates I just showed you. And it's going to plug it in, and it puts it right here. So we know they wanted an approval for something right here. And then we know the dimensions, we know the height, and it matches RMC. However, 2020 was not good to the park. I hate bringing this up, but you had the riots in Louisville. You had reduced crowds. The park didn't open earlier in the year. They were offering hugely discounted tickets when I went, even on a Saturday. The first half of the day was dead, and I was able to hop on everything until the crowd showed up. And most of the crowds headed to the water park. And then the major thing I think the park deals with um, at Kentucky Kingdom is I think the park has a lot of issues with the locals not taking care of the park, throwing trash down on the ground. And I think that sets a bad example for people like me or other people that might visit throughout the country that go and visit Kentucky Kingdom and they get a bad experience because of the locals more so than the park employees. The park employees are great. The food's great. I just feel like Kentucky Kingdom needs that new A-list coaster because Kentucky Flyer is a good family coaster. But for people that want to go to Kentucky Kingdom for a destination park, they need that. And this RMC Raptor would have been the first RMC Raptor in the Midwest. Nobody has an RMC Raptor right now. And by the Midwest, I mean like Ohio, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois. I'll count Kentucky. And then Missouri, all the way up until probably Kansas and that little bank over there. Infinity Coaster or Next Gen Vekoma would work. The park loves working with RMC, though. They also know T3 is bad, but it's the park's billboard. That's funny. Kentucky Kingdom has been super clean every time I've been there. The locals can be annoying, but aren't any worse than any other park. I disagree on that, Brian. I was there and I watched the locals throw drinks repeatedly on the ground and smash them into the ground when there was a trash can nearby. That's the thing I'm talking about. Taking care of your park, being a local park. I mean, I know of other small parks where the locals do not do that and they throw away their trash or the cleaning crews are up and about. But yeah, I've seen some sort of disrespect on that. Um, so sorry if I offend you on that, but it's one of those things that if you go out there on a Saturday, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. What and when for a water park expansion? I don't even know if they have the room for a water park expansion. So if I bring this up here, let's go back to Google Maps and let's just bring up Kentucky Kingdom here. It always wants to resort to that. Hold on. Okay, so we're going to bring Kentucky Kingdom back up here. So if I bring Kentucky Kingdom back up here, where do you think there's room for a water park expansion? Over here, maybe? You got a plot of land right here, so I can see maybe them adding it right here. And we're only talking about this because they're joking around with me from yesterday for Kings Island video. I'm doing a bunch of live videos this week because next week we're not going to be doing anything due to Christmas. We might be releasing some regular videos, but I wanted to get this over with. And then at the end of the year, the full team's going to get together and we're going to talk about our favorite parks and coasters for the year. And I'm getting to zoom in on it. So the water park's kind of strange. So T3 is kind of nestled in the water park. But you have our Hurricane Bay is a wonderful water park. If you guys haven't been yet, definitely check it out. You have a tall drop slide. Where is that located at? I can't tell on this thing. I believe it's right here. Oh, wait, no, it's right here. Deep water dive. And then you have a lazy river. Right here, you could actually add a water park expansion. T3 takes up a good chunk of space as well. If they ever decided to push more of the park and they basically tear it down and build a new up ground like steel coaster, that would be a great fit. But this is a plot of land we're talking about right here. And then there was something getting cleared over here. So maybe some of you guys could explain this to me, but I'm going to bring it up here in just a second here. So when I was out there and I was filming it, sorry, I have to zoom out. Eventually we'll get back to the, okay. Oh, here we are. So this was in April. Trying to find the one footage here. Hey, go over there for now. Thank you. Go over there for now. Thank you. Go over there now. All right, sorry guys. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. So let me zoom in on this. So they were doing some construction work right over by Kentucky Flyer. Does anybody know what that possibly is? The Amphitheater active storage to possibly take out the T3 and Amphitheater. And he's talking about a water park expansion. Yeah, but they utilize the amphitheater right now, so I don't know if they would do that because it adds different things for the area. So you would have, making sure I'm not getting any alerts through here. So I don't think they would remove that because they have two things that they use for shows. I think one's a bird, however you pronounce that, aviary or whatever, aviary. I'm not good at pronouncing that word, but does the amphitheater act as storage too? Possibly. They could be storing in there because it'd be easy to cover that up. But if you look right here, this is what they were clearing out when I went back in April, and I'm not sure what that's going to be cleared out for. Somebody said that it would be, that could possibly be the new entrance for Kentucky Kingdom, and then the other parking lot would be the water park entrance, and they're trying to get away from basically utilizing what is the fairgrounds right now. And the only way the park could expand is into the parking lot or into this area. So obviously they got approval, or else we wouldn't be seeing a lot of expansion over here, which begs the question, is the park thinking about possibly locating this new coaster over into this area, or are they going to keep it over by Eye of the Storm? But this was back, like I said, in April, and I didn't know anything that was going on. I just saw this, and you can see they were clearing it out. This is right behind, and I'll bring up a map here in just a second, but this was right behind their drop slide, gate 30. And you can see they were clearing out. Why would they clear out all this unless they plan on doing something with it? See where it's located at? And then this is the other parking lot that they haven't used yet, which is odd, but it is newly paved and ready to go. And I heard that's going to be an entrance to the new water park. Does anybody know that? If you do, comment, please, because I would love to hear what you have to say about it. But that's that new parking lot. And I think they used the gate 30 or the parking lot for the winter walkthrough. I was not at the winter walkthrough this year, so I can't concur to that statement or not. But what happens if Kentucky Kingdom scraps the RMC Raptor and decides on something bigger? From what I understand, this is through the rumor vine. I don't know if it's true or not, but Kentucky Kingdom might still be running into issues paying off Kentucky Flyer. I don't know if it's true or not. It's just a rumor. I read a bunch of things online. The park is not verified or anything like that. But what happens if 2020 has hit them so hard that they have to delay everything until 2022, 2023? I mean, you did get a new coaster in 2018. Or no, it was 2019, right? Wait. Kentucky Flyer opened in 20. Yeah, they opened up in 2019. So they just have put in a new coaster. So that would have been a new coaster in 2 years. which is kind of unheard of for a park the size of Kentucky Kingdom. Which is great. That means Ed Hart is investing a lot of money into it. There's a lot of things that could be fine-tuned in relation to the park. Obviously, adding the extra parking and allowing people to enter through a different way would alleviate the issue of having to worry about the congestion dealing with the Kentucky Convention Center. Chances of getting a second train with a transfer track. I thought they had a second train already. Um, I don't know, Michael. I don't foresee them investing any more money than retracking in Thunder Run, even though Thunder Run is kind of a popular coaster there. I don't foresee them doing any more to it than what they have. I think if they would have done a lot of work in 2020, they would have did that. I attended No Coaster Con in January, and Kentucky Kingdom said there was a 0% chance of a second train. All right, thanks for clarifying that, Carl Strum. And unfortunately, No Coaster Con has probably been canceled this year, obviously due to COVID, which sucks because I wanted to get an ACE membership and fly out to Chicago for that. Unfortunately, doesn't look like that's going to happen unless they relocate it down to Orlando this year, which I don't think ACE is going to. But you can see there's a lot of work being done around the park. So let me do a zoom out again, kind of show you guys on Google Maps. And if you guys are a fan of the park, you guys are probably enjoying this. If not, some people might be confused on what they're looking at here. But it's very landlocked. Like it's slightly bigger than Indiana Beach, but Indiana Beach has room to actually expand. These guys, the only way they could expand, and this is the thing, I think this extra parking was already open when I was there last time, but I don't think that extra parking has anything to do with anything besides broadband arena over here. So let's say Kentucky Kingdom builds this new, they already built this new parking over here. So let's say they already got approval. So let's zoom in over here. And this could possibly be expansion for the water park and also for this side of the park, offering new coasters, new flat rides. But let's say they added this expansion over here not to separate themselves from the Kentucky Convention Center, but instead they decided to do it in order to, because they're already going to repave all this. So let's say they talked to Kentucky Convention Center and they said, we want to take out all this. So this space right here, we want to take out this space right here and we want to use it for the expansion of the park. And the Kentucky board said, yeah, go ahead and do it. So we might see, because we already saw Kentucky Flyer get expanded into this parking lot. But what happens if Kentucky Flyer is just a start and we see another expansion into this parking lot as well? That's just a thought. But yeah, just as you were saying, so here's the drop deep water dive. So this is the street I was off of here. Now, hold on just a second. These are the trees that were tore off. So that could be another thing. Maybe they're planning on just expanding the parking lot out into this area, and maybe the Avian Adventure, like you said, the amphitheater, maybe they tear all this down, and maybe this is the spot for the new RMC instead of putting it over here, because there could be a lot of different ways on that. But I mean, this spot is so tiny. I mean, you already see Kentucky Kingdom is already landlocked. And the issue that it has, this is why we don't see coasters more than 100 feet tall, is this wonderful airport that sits right next to the park. Now, Ed Hart's done miraculous things on here. I wish the locals would quit calling it Six Flags. It's not Six Flags anymore. But you have a great coaster lineup. You have, Storm Chaser, Thunder Run. We won't talk about that one, but you even have Kentucky Flyer, which was added, and Kentucky Flyer was a great addition. It's weird how you have to get to it, but it's a kooky little park, but it's a unique park. Right now, you enter through this area, and it's a smaller version. Then you have to go across a crosswalk, either across the street or over an overpass, and you do have room to expand over here. And you also have room to expand here. Well, they don't own that land, sorry. There's a maintenance building. So Kentucky Kingdom probably owns all this here too. So all they'd have to do is get approval from the city to expand out to here. But I don't know what the I don't know what the state or city would do on that because I don't know if that property is owned by anybody at this time. But there's a lot of different things. They said they might have a virtual con next year. I mean, I guess that's better than nothing, right? But what are some of the other coaster possibilities? Well, today we found out that Indiana Beach is kind of teasing an S&S, just by the words they use and the verbiage that they use. But this happened here. Okay. But let's say you have the RMC Raptor, you could add a Gershlaw, or you could add just a variety of different things. Short term, water park, second gate is a smart play. They have a lot of opportunities to expand on this park, so I'm going to go for like another 5 minutes. But I think T3 eventually gets removed. I think they use that space for an expansion of the water park. I think the new roller coaster does end up going into the spot, so the RMC Raptor. I don't foresee the park investing that much time and effort to talk to RMC, to make the FFA plans, to submit up permits, to get approved, all in all, just to squash the plans in the long run. I think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen until 2022. I think we see a lot of teasers next year, but I think Stunt Flyer was the one going to Kentucky Kingdom, and here's why. And I think they could. I think they have the same color scheme. Kentucky Kingdom uses a red color scheme, right? So let's look at that video real fast, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll go to the Stunt Flyer. And you guys let me know if this doesn't look like it would belong to Kentucky Kingdom or not. There you go. Go ahead and watch this video. In case you guys are familiar with the park, just watch the layout of this. Kentucky Kingdom has been using red on almost all their coasters, so just watch this. Stunt Pilot, yeah, you're right. What did I don't even know what I just called it. Wouldn't that be nice? And in case you're joining me, I'm showing the commercial for Stunt Pilot. This, look at this. Now, doesn't that look like something that was supposed to happen at Kentucky Kingdom? Now, if I look at a map here from Silverwood to RMC headquarters, why do you think RMC and Silverwood combined a deal? Let me show you why I think this was going to Kentucky Kingdom. So I'm going to bring up Silverwood here. Okay, so there's Silverwood. Silverwood theme park. Great theme park. I heard it's one of the best in the world. It's in the middle of nowhere. But let's do directions from to that to RMC. What's another name for RMC? There we go. Look how close these guys are to each other, guys. I mean, if that tells you anything, Silverwood waited till the last minute. I think Kentucky Kingdom wants it, but they pulled out of the contract, and Silverwood jumped on the opportunity. I think it is a clone. But yeah, you can see right here, they're only an hour from each other. So, okay, so we already know that RMC prefabricates everything. inside its own workshop. So they had the pieces already. The only thing they needed is land. Silverwood, in return, got approval probably in record time. They don't have anything that they have to do besides get a permit for it. They don't need FFA approval because it's only a 100-foot coaster. And RMC probably packaged a good deal. The transportation costs would be really low for that. And I think that's why the RMC coaster went to Silverwood instead of Kentucky Kingdom. And I hope Kentucky Kingdom in the future adds one. You already have the permit approval. All they have to do is turn around and do something different. Six Flags America and Kentucky Kingdom are similar in terms of people disrespecting the park. I agree on that. But yeah, look at this. So we zoom in here. I mean, it's just like, if you guys ever got out to Silverwood, which I plan on doing, by the way, I'm going to be lining up something with Rocky Mountain Construction because look at this. Can't zoom in a whole lot, but you can see their test track for the RMC Raptor right here. And you can see all the prefabricated track out back. They do everything here. Everything is done here. And I could, bring up I could drag this guy over here and show you guys exactly what the area looks like. Let's just have a little bit of fun here. So here it is. There's RMC right there. You guys are probably expecting more, weren't you? But that is their headquarters, and I think they own a building right over here as well. They actually might own this across the street. This might be their main building. And then this is their fabrication building. But check that out. Isn't that cool? And I plan on heading out there. And you can see like little pieces over here of track, it looks like. Yep, right here. So, yeah, they definitely own this property over here, too. They own that property, and they own the property across the street. And you saw from the sky, you saw from the satellite view, they had like a coaster set up. Obviously, that wasn't set up in this. Whenever this was, it doesn't. 2016. So it's definitely old. But yeah, you kind of see everything, and it's kind of interesting. But how close it is to Silverwood is the reason why RMC probably contacted them, or Silverwood probably contacted them. They probably have a good relation. RMC's probably wanted to work with Silverwood for a while. Kentucky Kingdom drops out of the race. RMC contacts Silverwood, says, hey, we have that clone available for you. We already have it prefabricated. We can give you a discount. So RMC doesn't lose all of their money off of it. I imagine the coaster costs a deposit from Kentucky Kingdom. So Kentucky Kingdom, maybe since they have good relations with RMC, maybe they worked out a deal where they would buy the coaster in 2022, and in return, RMC sold it over to Silverwood. Silverwood buys it. RMC doesn't lose any money, and Kentucky Kingdom doesn't lose any money. That's the thing I'm thinking happened. I could be wrong, but I don't foresee any future coasters heading to Kentucky Kingdom besides that, unless Ed Hart, by all means, contacts B&M and does like a compact dive, kind of like what's found over at SeaWorld San Diego. It's probably a more affordable option than obviously a full-term one, and the region does not have a dive coaster besides Cedar Point, but that's far away. Silverwood is RMC's guinea pig and gave the park a sweet deal. I think so. I agree with that statement. I mean, they're an hour from each other. It takes an hour to go from Silverwood to RMC. Imagine how cheap the transportation costs would be on that. I mean, most parks would love to have that. Why do you think Orion over at Kings Island didn't cost that much? That should have been a $35 million coaster. It was a $30 million coaster, right? Maybe 28, because everything was fabricated at the Claremont fabrication facility, and it didn't have to travel far to the park. Cuts down on transportation costs, cuts down on the price delivering that product. Now, obviously, at RMC Raptor is not going to cost as much as a big steel giga coaster like Orion does, but you get my point on that. But I think that concludes everything. I think we know what's going in. The time is, we know that 2020 caused the financials of Kentucky Kingdom to have to pull out of the deal. Obviously, you guys agree with everything I've said. I think the park does look at possibly expanding the water park because that is a hot commodity in that area of Louisville. Brings in a lot of locals to spend money. Offers a lot of season pass options as well. T3, I don't think stays that long. If T3 gets torn down, I think it gets replaced. If somebody had a good point with a new age Vekoma. Vekomas are still affordable, or an SNS, or just something in general that's affordable. But I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you guys again. You guys have been great this whole week. We did surveys on Monday, talked about Kings Island yesterday, talked about Kentucky Kingdom today. And there's another park I wanted to talk about, and that will be Mount Olympus, and we'll talk about that tomorrow here on Midwest Coaster Fans Live. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button, bell notification button, so future videos drop down for Midwest Coaster Fans. I'll also have an update coming soon on Icebreaker. I'm going to try to get out there today, grab you guys an Icebreaker update to show you guys the footage over there, what's going on with the new coaster coming to SeaWorld Orlando. And with that being said, this is Chris signing out until next time. Thanks again for watching. Have a great one.